So after you've gone through all of this helplessness stuff, at some point, you got to figure out a way to find hope from somewhere. You got to be able to capture from somewhere. Do you remember the first thing that you did or what came to you?
Well, the first way that I found hope was I had to find a book to read. I had to find information on it somewhere about how I'm going to basically take care of myself. Because I knew the answer wasn't going to come from within, because I just, at that point in my life, I just didn't have enough life experience yet. So I didn't know what the answers were going to be. So I read a book, and that book made me aware of the fact that my happiness was going to be up to me, regardless of what goes on around me. And when there were things going on, even in the family still, the fact that I could be happy on purpose saved me a lot, and it kept me from going off the rails.
Was there ever a time where you thought you were slipping back into a helplessness posture position?
Was there ever a time I felt I was slipping back? Not really having anybody else to bounce it off of, person to person. It's kind of like it's a constant struggle. It's a constant thing to stay up and to stick with it and to keep going. So I never really fell too far back to where I thought my life was a shambles, or I don't know what to do or where to go, or that kind of thing. It just kept me kind of even keel.
Was there an individual or individuals that kept you tethered to this hope? Because that could be a hard thing to do on your own.
Was there anybody who kept me tethered to the hope? It was my family. It was my brothers and my sisters. Knowing that even though some of us were fragmented to the point where we were not in communication at all, those that I was in communication with meant the world to me. And the fact that I could go hug them, I could go see them, the fact that we could talk, even though we weren't talking about that particular subject, us being around each other was always fun. And that did that for me. My family meant and means everything to me.
Is there an event that made you realize, I'm okay. I'm going to be okay? It may have been a self-development event, or I don't know. It may not have been anything.
No, I didn't really have a light bulb moment like that. Only because I think my starting to read early kind of kept my head in that space. So I was always focused on being happy and not going down the drain.
So with your happiness, so you've been able to find a degree of happiness in the midst of all of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, being able to find happiness in the midst of all this was the most important thing. Because if you're not happy, you can't be happy, there's no way you can save yourself. You lose hope completely. And one of the things I tell my daughter is be stubborn about being happy, because the situations in your life that will come and constantly come will try to take that from you. But you have to learn that your strength to be happy and to like yourself is in yourself. It's not outside. It's inside you. And believing in yourself and that you can achieve that sometimes in situations like this is enough just to keep your head up.
This is a two-part question. If you could change one thing with your sisters, what would it be? And then if it was one thing you would change with your brothers, what would it be?
If there was one thing I could change with my sisters, it would be that we didn't lose contact with them. Like Cookie and Tracy, we had them, but the twins, if I could go back and change anything, it would be to apologize and to let them know that I love them. And not having them in my life was sad for me, because I know if I'm feeling that way about them, missing them, even though they're being strong for themselves, and I can certainly respect that. I know they're missing me, because we as kids, we didn't do anything to each other. We are the innocent ones, and the fact that we are having to pay that price because we weren't able to talk to each other about it is the thing that I would change, that we could talk to each other about it and what we were feeling. For my brothers, I would go back to the ones that are kind of out of the loop, let them know that they didn't do anything and that they're innocent also. They don't have to make excuses for themselves. They don't have to bear the burden that they have been carrying all this time. Because just like knowing that our sisters have missed us, I know they miss us. It's impossible not to. We were too much for each other. We were way too much. Unlike a lot of families that have the numbers that we did, us being 8, a lot of times with families that are that big, the oldest one hardly even knows the youngest one, because by the time the oldest one got to be 15, the younger ones are like 4 or 5 years old, and the 15-year-old's got no time to mess around and play with a 4 or 5-year-old. So the 15-year-old is out doing his own thing, and from that point on, he doesn't really even know his younger brothers and sisters. We didn't have that. We were lucky enough to all grow up together every day, because we all sang together. Everything we did was revolved around that. And so not having that in their life, I know hurts them. And not having them in my life, I know it hurts them just like it hurts me. Because for me, we need each other. Not as a crutch to live, but for our complete, total happiness and feeling complete, I think we need each other.